So many times, you get to that point, whether it's fall camp, spring camp, where kids kind of just ready for it just to kind of be over.
Sure.
Do you feel like your guys kind of finished strong in the last week or so?
I do feel like we finished strong, and I thought we finished on a real positive note today. I thought they had a lot of energy. I thought they were communicating. They took the day seriously. It wasn't just another day off before the spring game, and it was very productive and a useful day for us and some of the things that we wanted to get on film as we work into the summer months.
John, just with, I guess, so many guys out this spring, do you feel like you made the most of it with the guys that you did have?
We did, and with about 6 practices left, I just took those injured guys and threw them in there, but they were able to do some basically jog throughs, no obviously contact with pads on or anything, but they were able to get some mental reps and get some communication and start a process that we're going to have to go through in the summer months to develop as a defense and as a unit. And I'm encouraged by the spring and coming out of the spring practices.
Did you have to, I guess, remind yourself throughout the spring that I'm going to have a bunch of guys back?
Yes, I did, and the coaches reminded me of that as well. So yeah, it's a process. It's teams across the country are having to deal with it. We're no different, so we're going to make the best of it. We're going to offer no excuses. We're just going to do the best we can and get the job done.
You feel like this defense, when it's fully healthy at full strength, could be pretty good, even build
I would never admit to anything like that, even if I felt that way. But I think we got a chance. I think we got a good group coming back. We're going to have to stay healthy. Certainly, we're going to have to work hard over the summer. We're going to have to work hard throughout camp. We're going to have to. We got a lot of things that we need to continue to improve on. There's going to be a lot of young guys in there, intermixed, and that's just the process that we're having to go through. It's going to be fun. It's going to be challenging for us as coaches and as players and as a team. That's why you do it, though. That's what motivates us as coaches to find ways to get the job done, even maybe when we have some young players. And that'll be the challenge for us.
Well, Saturday just being such a different deal due to the numbers, what are you hoping to see out of your guys?
I want to see good tackling. I want to see great effort. I want to see communication and execution. And I want to force, turnovers. Those are the things that we believe in as a unit and as a defense. So, we're going to be limited with what we do. We're not going to have our nickel package out there. I may throw a nickel out there for a series or two, but we'll play base defense against our offense, which really you don't want to do. But we got to keep the right guys healthy, and we got to continue to get guys reps that we want to still evaluate.
What do you think is the most important thing you guys accomplished as a defense this spring? What was the biggest thing you guys?
Just getting the young guys some reps. I think we improved in our tackling. I think we improved in our angles to the football. I think we improved with our block destruction and fundamentals. I saw guys getting a lot better in pass rush. I saw our DBs getting better in their pace and their pedal and playing the ball in the air. And, collectively as a unit, are we where we want to be? No, but I don't know anybody that comes out of spring feeling that way. So we're probably no different than a lot of folks right now.
Is there anything specific you wish you got done this spring that you didn't feel like?
There was a couple things. I would have liked to have gotten more of a variety of personnels, 20 personnel, 10 personnel, 22 personnel. We were able to get some of those things mixed in near the end, but we'll just get on that when we get back in camp and work on some things in the summer too.
What kind of spring did Chris Weatherd have, and do you see him still as a situational player at this point?
Yeah, Chris's biggest trait and his asset to our defense and our unit is his ability to rush the passer. He can do some things on third down. Chris is not an every down player as a defensive end right now. He knows that. He's got to get bigger and stronger, and this summer is going to be huge for him and his personal development. And, I love Chris. He's got a great attitude. He works hard. His strength training this summer is going to be, the difference for him.
And then besides Jalen Reeves-Maben, just who do you feel confident with putting at linebacker right now?
I feel confident right now with Kenny. Kenny, and obviously Jakob has some game reps. So once we get him back, he's a guy that should be functional and knowledgeable of the things that we want to do. Darren Kirkland, from what he's been able to do from a mental standpoint, is right on point. I'm really excited about him. And we were able to work him in the last few practices, in like those jog throughs that I was talking about with the injured players. So I was excited about him. But there's still a lot of room for improvement at that position. I don't think anybody has solidified anything other than really Jalen. I mean, let's be realistic. Kurt, when you get him back and we play base, so the middle linebacker position is wide open, even as we come out of the spring.
Who would be some of the guys you'd nominate for the most improved defensive player of the spring?
There's a number of guys. I think Rashawn Golden made huge strides as a player. Even a guy like Cam Sutton, he's played corner, and now we moved him into the nickel position to try and create some depth there, and he did a great job. Up front, I think LaTroy Lewis had a very good spring and really showed improvement. In the back end, Malik Foreman, guy that jumps into my mind as a young man that showed great improvement, just playing with a lot more confidence. He's made a couple plays in the spring. You could see him, really starting to get better and feel more comfortable. Todd Kelly, I thought, made some plays. Evan Berry's made some plays. That first scrimmage, couple of the hits that he had, and then that one pick on the third down was really a great play. So I thought Evan really came on. He's really becoming more vocal back there too.
Is the number of guys you have faith in now a lot bigger? I mean, you talked a lot about last year really feeling trustworthy.
Yeah.
Is there a longer list now after this spring and having to play
I think
a bunch of young guys?
this is what I think. I think we have recruited more talent and more speed. They're young. And once we get through that learning curve and they are able to gain some experience and some game reps, I think we're on the right track. I don't know what this year holds for us. I mean, I don't know how good we could be, really. I mean, anything could happen with injuries, things of that nature. But certainly I like the look of the future. If all the guys hang in there and continue to work hard, it's just going to be a little bit bumpy with all the young guys that are going to be relied on. I mean, you look at Shai Tuttle's going to play. Khalil McKenzie's a guy that's not even here yet that we're talking about every day. I hope Khalil can make it. Darren Kirkland, who could be a starting middle linebacker, still hasn't practiced at the University of Tennessee, even though he's been here. So it's things like that, and Evan is going to be a play. He's going to play, and he was primarily a special teams guy last year, so he's really getting his first reps as a safety full time. And it just doesn't happen overnight, and so we'll take our lumps at times. But they're great kids. They want to be coached. They want to be told what to do. They want to be taught, and they'll do it the way we ask them to do it. Now they may make some mistakes in between, but certainly I'm excited, and I think the future of Tennessee defense is really on the right track. There's just no way to predict how we're going to be this first year as young as we'll be.
Is there a sense of relief when camp is over for you guys? I mean, especially as thin as you are.
Yeah, to a degree, because you don't want to get anybody hurt. You already have a rash of injuries. You'd hate to lose a guy like Cam Sutton or a Brian Randolph. So there is a bit of relief, once you're able to make it through spring and all those guys are healthy. There's also a lot of optimism because that you still have opportunities to grow throughout the summer as a unit and get better and continue to develop. The kids, I think, come out with a better understanding of a lot of different scenarios and situational football, and they can go on and work with each other throughout the course of the summer and continue to get better.
You ever been through a spring like this where the numbers are?
I have not. No, this was really really unique situation that we were in. Have not been in a situation where you've had 7 defensive linemen out for a spring, and so it was challenging. But I thought our coaches at all positions did a great job. Our players made no excuses. We offered no excuses, and they were out there getting the job done and working diligently every day.
John, when you look at that group of sophomores, Rashawn, TK, Emmanuel, just how big of a step have they taken and kind of understood that their time isn't in the future, it's kind of now?
No, yeah, they understand that. I mean, especially Emmanuel. I mean, he ended up starting towards the end of the year, and obviously Todd played a lot for us. Evan performed well on special teams and has had a great spring, so they know they're in the mix. I mean, they're well aware of that. They got to have a great summer.
Have they taken the natural step that you want from that freshman to sophomore year?
Yeah, I would say they have. Yeah, I definitely see progress, and it's still a long way to go, but certainly I'm excited about their ability and what they can do. I love all three of those guys. They're smart. They communicate well. They go to class. They do things right. So they have good habits off the field, which generally translates to good habits on the field. And so I'm excited about working with them every day.
With the options you had, how would you evaluate what you got out of the Mikes this spring? I know the numbers were a little bit down there, but that being such a huge position to replace with AJ gone, how's that process gone this spring?
It's been rough. Those guys have struggled at times. They've been very inconsistent at the Mike linebacker position. There's a lot of food on their plate. As you know, as a middle linebacker, you're the quarterback of the defense. You're setting the fronts. You're giving the blitz directionals. You're checking things. You're making backfield calls. It's not something that just happens for guys overnight. And you look at, Gavin Bryant redshirted last year. He was in that Mike linebacker. Dylan Bates ended up redshirting last year. Never played Mike. He was at Will in the fall and throughout camp. Kenny Bynum is probably the most functional guy, and that's because he's played it. Jakob's not out there, so he's been injured. And so it's you got to just keep working. There's no shortcut. And that's the thing that I really respect about the guys that we have, is that they realize there is no shortcut and they just want to work.